All right, Prop the Mic, PTM, coming to you early on a Monday morning, getting ready for a doubleheader of Monday Night Football. Prop the Mic, as always, sponsored by Props.cash. We had a nice little night, or day and night in NFL Sunday slate yesterday. How you feeling on this early Monday morning, Dave?
Feeling great. We, like you said, we had a great day yesterday, and we got a $500 giveaway going today. So we've tried that a couple times. I think the first time we had like 5 legs in the parlay, second time 3. Today we're trying to make it as easy as possible. Just 2 legs, Evans touchdown, and we'll be set. And Devonta Smith, I think, was the other leg, right? So
Yes,
I'm looking forward to seeing that cash and giving away some money tonight so we could share the wealth. Sound good?
That sounds awesome.
All right, let's dive right into it. We got 2 games tonight, like you said. Let's go into the first game. Again, same setup as last week. We got like roughly a 7 p.m. or so start, and then an 8 p.m. start. Eagles at the Bucs. Eagles are 2-0 on the season. Bucs, surprisingly, are also 2-0 on the season. Bucs are getting 5 points at home. Total here is 45. What do you like here?
All right, couple spots to look at. I think we can look at overs in the Philly passing game. Some really nice stats here. The matchup we like the best, Philly has the 6th best pass block win rate. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, has the 6th worst pass rush win rate. So beautiful mismatch right there. When it comes to quarterbacks against Tampa Bay's tied for 2nd in average pocket time allowed. They're above average in attempts at 36.5. They're tied for 7th in yards per attempt at 7.6. And then nice explosive plays, tied for 9th in passes of 10 plus yards, tied for 3rd in passes of 20 plus yards. So nice explosive plays that they're giving up we can look for from Jalen Hurts potentially here. And then also great matchups against opposing wide receivers. 4th in yards per reception, 4th in yards before catch, 2nd in receptions of 20 plus yards, 2nd in receptions of 30 plus yards, 2nd in average long reception. Let's target some receivers and passing game here. What do you say?
That sounds good. Yeah, that's what was popping off for me too. I just didn't know who to target. That's the trick here, right? It's like you got to find the best of the best.
Yeah.
Let me pull up our little props.cash screen here, and let's get to it.
All right. First one I looked at. Let's start with the quarterback, Mr. Jalen Hurts. I just spoke about the explosive plays. I like his long pass here tonight, 37.5, minus 122 on FanDuel. If you look at his last 2 Monday Night Football games, just click on Monday over there.
Oh boy.
Look at that. The guy comes to play when it's the lights are on on Monday night. So not just for that reason. I think you just had the overall up there. I think it's pretty good. And I just like this potential explosiveness against Tampa Bay here. So Jalen Hurts over 37.5, long pass.
Long pass. Who's he gonna pass it to? That's the question.
I can give you my next guy. You ready? This is rapid fire here, right?
Go right into it.
All right. So we have him in our touchdown promo, but I like Devonta Smith over 4.5 receptions. It's minus 140 on DK. You can click on his Monday splits.
Oh, he's also pretty good. So he goes with Hurts, it appears, right?
You pair them up. You can look at his road splits too.
Let's look at him on the road. Yeah, pretty good.
Oh, did the line go up?
5.5. Let's see.
It's 4.5.
We can get it 4.5 on FanDuel.
There you go. That's the green I like to say.
Yeah, minus 146, but
okay.
Not a bad thing to pair with something.
Put that with Hurts, and you're good.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, nice. Cool. What about AJ Brown?
Yeah, I got something on AJ. Do you?
Okay. I actually, of the 2, I kind of like Devonta Smith better today. I also like his receiving yards, which I think is a natural play as well. In addition to his receptions, you can get that as low as 59.5, which he's done in 8 of his last 10 games. Seems to really be a big target for Hurts right now. Although I was a little concerned last week, his receptions were at 4, his targets were down to 5. Definitely more action towards Brown, but again, Brown didn't get a ton of targets either. 6 targets there. So. But I think they're both good picks. But tell me what you're thinking about Brown.
So I was with you on the fact that I didn't like the targets weren't up there. So I'm like, let's look at his long reception because we were already on the long for Hurts here. So 25.5. Look at his road split. Pull up his road splits there. Nice. Last 7 of 9. Last 8 of 13 overall. So nice trend there. 25.5 seems very doable. I also think Dallas Goedert long reception is also nice at 17.5. He's also done that in the last 5 of 6 on the road. Philly really seems to, the passing game just seems to step up a level when they're on the road. So I think these are all pretty good plays.
Yeah, and I think the run D is not terrible, right?
It's not
for Tampa Bay. So I think that's going to lead to more passing as well, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I actually didn't have anybody else. Those are the only players I was targeting on the Philly side. You got anybody else there?
On Philly, I just have one other that I want to call out. This is an anytime touchdown. You got Watkins out tonight. So a gentleman, I'm not going to even try to pronounce his first name, but Zacchaeus is his last name, wide receiver. Nick Sirianni said this guy's going to get an expanded role here tonight. He used to play for Atlanta, so he's very familiar with Tampa Bay. His last 3 games against Tampa Bay, which was last year and the year before, total of 9 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You can get him on FanDuel for an anytime touchdown plus 850. I think that's worth a little sprinkle tonight.
That might be the sharpest play you've ever given out on the show. So I love that. I don't even know who that guy is, so I'm definitely going to put a little sprinkle on that one.
Yeah. The sharpest ever. Wow. I don't know if that's if I should feel good about that, or I don't know if that's a compliment or
it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, okay.
It's a backhanded compliment. All right, let's move to the Tampa Bay side. Let's go start with the quarterback. You like anything on Baker Mayfield here?
I do not.
I do not. I think Philly is second most passing yards in the league so far. I think Mayfield over 229.5 is probably not a bad play, especially with this game being at home, but I'm not on the train yet. So I'm going to pass on this play, but if I did have to choose over under, I would probably go over there.
Okay. All right. I see a lot of red there, but
a lot of red, but that was, a different situation. He's 1 for 2 so far this year.
It's not, I prefer, we're not just trend bettors, we're looking at matchups and whatnot. And sometimes that's where you find the most value is when you're not playing the trend, when everyone else is looking at the trend, you're playing the matchup there. So
no, and finding guys who are like not fan favorites like this, there's so much negativity around Baker Mayfield and his career, probably because of all the hype and because he's kind of like a little arrogant the way he carries himself and such, but he really is, having a good season so far. So we'll see if he can keep it going tonight. But I like kind of playing his success more on the receiving side. Who do you like here? Evans, Godwin, either of them?
I got a sneaky one here. Okay. So Philly running backs against Philly have not been good, right?
Right.
But where they have excelled is in the passing game. Philly has allowed the most targets and receptions to opposing running backs this season, right? They're also 10th in yards after contact on receptions to running backs at 3.6. So they're having a bit of trouble with, passes out of the backfield. So I like Rachaad White over 16.5 receiving yards. You want to pull up Mr. White there? Click on his Monday splits.
Yeah.
And look at his home games.
Yeah, pretty good.
Last 7 of 10, last 4 of 5. And even if you click on other, you can throw in a Thursday night game there, prime time. He also crushed with 24 receiving yards. I think this is a great sneaky spot for this backfield passing game against Philly.
Yeah, I mean, how many receptions did he have? Right, I mean, look at that. He had 5 receptions last week. So that in itself is pretty exciting when you're talking about just 17 yards. Yeah. His longest... that's his longest rush. We don't have his longest reception accessible, but probably pretty capable of doing that potentially in one catch. So I love that.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
While we're on him, I kind of like to fade his rushing yards though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
Yep.
He had a big game last week, 73 yards, but after that, he hasn't really crossed this 49.5 mark all season. This line is just getting pulled down and down. I think it was even higher when I looked at it this morning. Philly's the number 1 rush D in the league. They're giving up 50. I think that says 52 yards per game so far. And if we scroll down and you look at the opposing running backs, I mean, not the best running backs in the league, but Madison put up 28 yards against them last week, and Stevenson and Zeke both put up 25 and 29. So nobody's crossed 30 yards against Philly yet, and I don't know if they will tonight either. So I think he's a good fade, especially coming off of a big week.
And you get some nice juice if you do the White over receiving, under rushing. That's a nice parlay there.
Yeah, I might do over like receiving and under, if I can, under like 35 rushing yards. Like really try
Really
to play
bring it down.
a down game here. So
Nice.
okay, so that's enough on White. Anybody else from a receiving or rushing standpoint?
No, that's all I had for this game here.
Yeah, nice picks. I think we got to talk about Mike Evans though.
Yeah.
You know, he is clearly the favorite target for Baker Mayfield, right? So you really got to just look at the last two games. Obviously, he's an all-star Pro Bowl receiver, but we can get his line for 54.5, and he's put up 66 and 171. But what I like is really the targets, right? 10 targets and 8 targets so far this season, 6 receptions in each game. So I actually think, his receiving yards at 54.5 is pretty nice. I think his receptions at plus 114, he needs 5 receptions, and he's put up 6 in both games with Baker Mayfield. So Philly's defense, that's their weakness is in the secondary so far this season. I think Mike Evans is going to be the key for the Bucs to stay in this game. So
I like that. I like the 4.5 receptions. That's very nice. Yeah.
And then I think equally, who's even more consistent from a reception standpoint. Look at this guy. Chris Godwin is like a 5 reception machine. So I don't know if I would take 5.5 in this game, given that the targets will probably go to Evans. But what I would say is this could make for a nice little same game parlay between both receivers. Maybe Godwin 5 receptions, Evans 5 receptions, or going back to that Devonta Smith 5 receptions, and either Godwin or Evans at 5 receptions. I think some combination of those 3 receivers all get 5
Smith
receptions.
And Evans 5 apiece. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, so something like that. I think maybe we'll put that one out later. Last thing to call out is tight ends have been pretty good against Philly so far this season. So Cade Otton is the tight end for the Bucs. If you look down, Hawkinson had 7 catches against Philly, and Hunter Henry had 5 receptions against them. And then if you just look at their receiving yards, same deal. Hawkinson had 66 receiving yards on a line of 48.5, and Hunter Henry had 56 receiving yards. So they both blew out their lines there. Cade Otton had a pretty good week last week, and I think he's got a pretty low line at 27.5 receiving yards. You can get that as low as 25.5 at DraftKings. What do you think about Cade Otton here?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that tight end matchup, so I'm on board. I focused a little bit more heavily on the Philly side, so I didn't dig in as deep. But yeah, I definitely saw that. That was on my list of matchups that are popping off. So I think that's a good call out.
It's sneaky. Nobody's, there's so many star receivers in this league.
Yes.
I think Otton's not really going to get the attention, but I think that might be a good pick. All right, let's wrap it up with Rams at the Bengals. Rams are 1-1 on the season. Bengals are 0-2. Bengals are -2 in this game. Total is 43.5. What's the latest on Joe Burrow? Is he playing in this game? Is he not playing in this game?
I mean, it's still just questionable.
Yeah,
I think even if he does, I'm not. I mean, that it's the calf is pretty bad. I mean, you've seen his production so far, so I don't even know what's better at this point. I'm just very hesitant to do much with this Cincinnati offense. You have a nice matchup here in terms of fading the Cincinnati run game. So, if we had a healthy Joe Burrow and we had the Bengals offense that we thought we were going to get this season, I think that'd probably shape up to be a fade on Mixon's rushing yards, but I just can't get there with all the uncertainty in this game. So I really just have one play on the Rams side, but you have anything Cincinnati?
On Cincinnati, no, just one player who I'd never heard of before. I love finding those guys. What is his name? So we got Drew Sample. Have you ever heard of Drew Sample before?
No.
Yeah, that's because that's Drew Sample's last season and a half of production. So Drew Sample's the backup tight end for Cincy, and I guess he's getting the start today. This is a little bit of a trap, though. I kind of looking at this, it kind of looked like he was a rookie last year and just hasn't really gotten reps, but he's actually been in the league for 4 or 5 seasons on Cincinnati. Early in his career, he was actually pretty productive. So you got to look back at kind of what he's done. So I was initially thinking, let's fade this guy, right? What is he going to do today against a pretty good pass defense? And so I think if you're going to play him, I would go under his longest reception. I think that's probably the best play. But I don't know. I look back at we can't see it here on Props Like Cash, but look back at his seasons from 2-3 years ago, and he's actually pretty productive. So he has it in him to be productive, but I thought that was a sneaky one. But if you're going to go under on Drew Sample, go under his longest, I think, under 10.5. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Who else on the Ram side do you like?
Okay. So, The matchup I like here is the running backs against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's allowed the most yards before contact at 3 yards before contact. Nice stat for running backs. They've allowed the most runs of 10 plus yards so far this season, and 6th in yards per attempt. And then if you look just at the Rams offensive line, they have like an average run block win rate. So, it's not a gigantic mismatch, but I think they can do a pretty decent job. So I think Kyron Williams over 57.5 rush yards. You have it at 60 there. Maybe it went up a little bit.
Yeah, BetMGM, you can get a 57.5 stuff.
Oh, I was just, what is that on DK now?
59.5. Lines are moving quickly.
Wow, it was 50. Dude, it was 57.5 on DK about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that tells us something right there. For sure. So, yeah, I like the over on his rush yards in this game. If Burrow doesn't play, I could see the Rams getting out to the lead and trying to keep that clock running and then giving him the ball. And obviously no Akers there anymore. So the backfield is his. And, I like this over.
Yeah, I had to look up who his backup running back is. This guy named Ronnie Rivers.
Ronnie Rivers, all right.
Who's clearly there's no lines on Ronnie Rivers, but I'm not sure how many touches Ronnie is going to get. They must be somewhat confident in the guy if they traded away Cam Akers, but I think Cam Akers has just been a headache for them for years, so I think they were just done with him. So I was looking at his rushing yards. I think that's nice. I might bring it down to 50 and then parlay it with something else. That's one approach I'm going with. I was also looking at his rush attempts. He's already gotten 15 and 14 with Akers there. I think Akers play against?
He didn't play last week. No.
Oh, he didn't play last week.
No.
This actually, it's already gone up to 14.5, but it was at 13.5 on one of the books just an hour ago. So that may be another approach if you think that the Rams are going to be in the lead here, and that might not be a bad play as well. But nice. It kind of feels like Burrow's going to play based on the line, right? Bengals are giving up 2 points still.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know what that means based on what we've seen from him. I don't know what what
they really
does, but
they really mismanaged that situation, huh? They should have sat him out week 1.
Yeah.
And let him recover or something. Now they're in kind of a dire situation, down 0-2, and he's still not healthy. I saw videos of him like walking and during practice or something. He's like limping the whole way. So he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
All right.
Down 0-3, your seas's over. So we'll see. Big game for Cincinnati here tonight.
That's okay. As a Chiefs fan, I'd be happy if the Bengals
sure you would.
are out of it. Let's talk about the receivers real quick. The Rams, obviously had a big blow with Cooper Kupp going out the season early, but then these two guys
didn't matter, right?
Yeah, these two guys just stepped up. So maybe it's all the quarterback. Maybe Stafford's just a beast. But you got Tutu and Puka. That's like the best two names for receivers. So who do you like better if you had to choose one? Tutu has put up 119 and 77 yards in his 2 games this season, and the receptions are off the chart, 6 and 17. Going backwards, we got Puka. Look at those receptions, 10 and 15, and his receiving yards are also through the roof, 119 and 147. So, are we missing something here? Like, why? Let's start with Puka. Why is Puka's receptions at 6.5 when he's put up 25 receptions so far this year?
Not sure. It's I think he is listed as questionable for this game. I think he will play. That designation might lead me to lean a little bit more Tutu. Although my initial inclination would be Puka, just based on what he's done so far this season. But I don't know. I mean, I guess he's still a rookie wide receiver in his 3rd professional game, and it takes a while for those lines to go up. I don't know. This could be a low-scoring game. I don't know. What do you think?
We're not talking we're talking about 6.5 receptions. I know. It's the guy had 35 targets in the first 2 weeks. Like, what is going on here? This is crazy. Just looking at the opposition. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Cincinnati's not the best team to target from a passing standpoint. So I think that's probably what's behind this. But yeah, I don't know. I think. I don't know if I'll play either of these lines, but what I might look to do is just like put something on both of these guys to go over 100 yards, right? They're, they look like 100-yard machines.
Yeah.
Puka's line is 73, so you get some pretty good juice if you take that up to 100.
Yeah, that sounds
Tutu's
nice.
line is 57. He's also gone there. So I think it takes 3 weeks to solidify a trend. So we might just get some value before this one becomes like a trend. So.
Nice.
Anyway, anything else for either of these teams?
No, I think that does it.
All right, give me real quick. Who's winning these 2 games?
who's winning these two games? I'm gonna go Philly for the first game, and I'm gonna say the Rams are gonna go into Cincinnati and take this much. Haven't liked what I've seen from the Bengals so far. I know that's
Okay.
not, and I know that's not going out on a limb, that statement, but what do
Yeah,
you think?
I think so. I mean, the Rams really aren't that great either, but yeah, they have the firepower to win that game, and I think the Bucs will give the Eagles a hard time, but I think the Eagles will walk away with maybe like a 3-point win or something like that. So,
all right,
good?
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, we're gonna. We had a lot of nice ones here today, so I think we'll have a few picks up on Twitter, X this afternoon, and let's all make some money tonight.